Hey, I'm Michael Clark, live here at LTV. It's June 23rd, and we are here with East Hampton Town Supervisor Peter Van Scoyoc. Hello, Peter.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
Good. I am well. And thanks, as always, for making yourself available to field the questions, listen to ideas, or generally chat on LTV's Channel 22 and then LTV's YouTube page. We appreciate that. And to our viewers at home, you can simply dial the number that's going across the top of the screen, and you'll be put into queue to speak with Peter, ask him a question. Just tell him to have a nice day. Whatever you feel like doing. And if you prefer, if you're a shy guy, you can send me the question, Michael Clark at ltveh.org. I'll be checking my email during the show, and I can simply read those questions to Peter. So feel free to call in and ask the supervisor. So Peter, congratulations obviously are in order for you. Yesterday, I don't know if you knew this or not, but yesterday was the Democratic primary here in the town of East Hampton. And you have been announced as the winner in your bid to run again as the town supervisor on the Democratic ticket. So is that, has it been made official yet, Peter, or?
It's unofficial until the absentee ballots are counted, but I don't think there are enough of them returned to overturn the initial counts. But it's not been made official by the Board of Elections as of yet.
Right, and I guess that's just a normal part of the way things run, right? But
absolutely.
So now it's a focus on November for you, I guess.
Well, for me, the immediate focus is going to be on some of the pressing issues and work that we have to do for the town. I think it'll be a little bit of a breather from the campaign cycle. And, there's really so much going on right now that we've been working to accomplish. And that's been my focus primarily. And, I tried to run my campaign on an upbeat, positive, in an upbeat, positive way, and really on my record of accomplishments, try to stay away from the negativity and the mudslinging. So.
And I know one of the things that's always high on your radar is the land preservation and the focus on it. And there was a fairly good sized announcement made. Why don't you talk about that? The land purchase that was made recently in Amagansett specifically, right?
Yes, very exciting news. The largest single acquisition of farmland by the town, I think, in the history of the town. I started negotiating February, just before the pandemic broke in 2020, and reached agreement with the Bistrian principals for 32.5 acres of farmland that's just north of Main Street in Amagansett, between the railroad tracks and Main Street. And it's really one of the largest and last remaining parcels or series of parcels of unprotected farmland, and it could have been developed. So it took from that point until just recently to work through all of the various easements and whatnot. We are going to be purchasing about 15 acres, the development rights on 15 acres, and an additional 17 acres in fee title. It also clears the way for another purchase that was kind of contingent upon this deal of the former Herb Field estate, which is also in that vicinity, just north of the new Amagansett parking lot. So this is really a major, I think, accomplishment. Will be a legacy for generations to come.
And what happens with that land? I know obviously you can just leave it as is, because that's the idea of preservation, I guess. But there are building rights, I guess, right? So do you have that, or?
So yes, for the most part, we have the fee title portion will be farmed, as it always has, as will the area with development rights. There are provisions for some small agricultural structures on a portion of the property. There's set aside for that. There are a number of other restrictions within those development rights. The vistas must remain open to the public parking lot to the south. So, for the most part, this will remain as it has for, generations. So super pleased that we finally reached agreement. We'll be scheduling a public hearing so the public can weigh in on this acquisition. And hopefully we'll be able to wrap this deal up after public hearing.
Yeah. I guess one of the things would be obviously you'd be focusing on a little bit of a cover crop on that, cover crop ryegrass or something to prevent the sandstorms or the blowing that we had the one year. I remember being in Amagansett and that being a real issue that one season. Remember that?
Yeah, so that was a situation where, potatoes had been planted. We had an extremely wet fall. The climate is changing, and the farmer was unable to harvest the crop until late. The cover crop was just starting to take hold when the migrating geese came and stripped the field. And at that point, with the very cold temperatures, with alternating cycles of heavy rain, created a very fine silt at the surface, and the winter winds, blew that all over the place. So, working with the property owner and the farmer and our local other farmers, we were able to put chopped straw all over that field, which kept the dust down.
Yeah, I do remember that. And as a reminder, folks, please voice your ideas, opinions, and concerns here on Channel 22. It's your opportunity to call in, speak directly to the supervisor, share your thoughts. You can just call the number here on the top of the screen. Peter, what's happening with the airport? I saw a press release just come out recently about you guys are someone's going to be presenting some information regarding the future aspects of the airport. What's going on with that?
So we've been having a number of work sessions devoted to just the airport. We recently, back in I think it was the 15th of May, had a work session where we had a presentation of our outside consultants' economic study of the airport, which was very revealing. We wanted to know, what kind of economic impact the airport brought to our community, what portion of the revenues in the community it was, and it's, less than 3%, it's closer to 1%. And so, one of the ongoing, I think, claims have been that closure of the airport or severely restricting it would have a devastating economic impact on our community. That's not borne out at all by the recent economic study. So we're going through a very methodical process to better understand, what benefits and what detriments the airport really has, and where the community wants to go with the airport once the grant assurances expire September 21st of this year. That's not a drop dead date. We don't need to make a decision by then.
Right.
But after that point, we will have a much broader set of options as to what to do with the airport. So we're going through process, engaging the community. So on the 6th, we'll have a presentation of what the underlying zoning is on the property, what those constraints might be for any re-envisioning or redevelopment, and also an environmental report, what the impacts are, carbon footprint, whatnot, of the airport. So it's part of our ongoing effort to engage the public and educate the public as to, the facts surrounding and the data surrounding the airport.
So the recent economic report doesn't support the fact that there would be a negative impact on the local economy with.
Let me just say it would be negative to those it affects, but the percentage of people it affects is really quite small.
Okay.
The overall economy, it's really like 1%. One of the things that was borne out in the study, in the survey, was that, of the people who use the airport to come and go to East Hampton, if the question was, if the airport were to close, would you still come? And 50% said they'd find alternative methods to come and go. So, I think now we're talking about 0.5% of those users, wouldn't come back. So, when you look in the big scheme and you're trying to weigh, the benefits and the detriments to the community, that's important information to have.
It really is. So I just got an email in here. Let me read this. This is from William Evans. Peter, congratulations on your primary. Congratulations on your primary win. what would you say are your goals heading into 2022?
Well, I mean, we've just been talking about the airport. I think that's something that we'll be dealing with. We'll also be dealing with advancing our renewable energy goals, our sustainability goals. We need to be addressing climate change and sea level rise. We're looking at implementing, the hamlet plans throughout the various hamlets. We are moving forward on affordable housing to address the crisis really in housing affordability here, which has only gotten worse. We have some promising news on that front. The state legislature has passed in both houses the Assemblyman Steele's bill for a 0.5% transfer tax, similar to CPF, which would be dedicated to advancing affordable housing within our community. We think that would make a substantial impact in helping us address that issue in terms of having a reliable funding source. Water quality's at the very top of the list. We're going to continue to incentivize people to upgrade their septic systems to low nitrogen systems. There's water quality improvement funds for that. We do offer significant grants to cover most of the costs, in some cases all the costs of those upgrades of existing systems. So there's quite a bit to do, much of which we've been working on, and we'll continue to advance and bring those projects online. We also have a new senior center that we need to build. We've just acquired 7 acres off Abraham's Path to do that. There's an emergency room at Panago Place that the hospital is going to start breaking ground on soon. We'll be relocating ball fields to Stephen Hand's Path. So it's very busy for the next several years.
Well, I'd forgotten about the emergency facility, and so much kind of like, not that the work itself got pushed to the back burner, but it wasn't on top of mind, as it were, for the last year, at least for me. So that is a good reminder. Those things are.
Well, it's certainly been at the top of my mind, Michael, because with the pandemic and all the challenges, health challenges there have been. Plus, I sit here right on the highway at Town Hall, and multiple times a day, I can count the ambulances going by from Montauk, from Amagansett, from Springs, from East Hampton, and they all have to travel to, Southampton. And with the traffic the way it is, that means that, these ambulance crew volunteers are taking up much of their day. They're all working people, and they come out on call as volunteers. And the amount of time off work and actually out of commission, where if there's another emergency, another service might have to cover for them.
Right.
So having a local emergency room means that the travel times are much less, and getting people to urgent care immediately is really a big plus. Also takes traffic off the highway that would have been otherwise going back and forth to Southampton.
And as a reminder, Peter, to our viewers, what is the timeline on that? I know it's a ways off a little bit, but
so the state, had given the hospital a grant of $10 million. They needed to raise the difference, the balance, and I think they've just about completed their fundraising goals. It's somewhere around 32 million, I think. Right. And the last I heard, they were hoping to break ground this fall.
Okay.
Still going through a review process and planning board, but I think the expectation was that they would possibly have a groundbreaking as soon as this fall.
And any news, Peter, or any word on the vaccination front? I know it's it's one of those things that keeps popping up, and you hear about the new variant and the younger people, and what's going on with the town in terms of the vaccinations.
So, Michael, it's been reported in Newsday, East Hampton and this portion of the South Fork have an extremely high vaccination rate.
Yeah.
And what we've found in running our mass vaccination center is that it's harder and harder to get large numbers that are looking for vaccine. We've worked with Southampton Stony Brook Hospital to have a couple pop-ups out in Montauk, where we have, the summer workers coming in who may not have been vaccinated. They're getting single dose Johnson and Johnson. So we've had some clinics like that. The state has the mass vaccination center at Southampton College, former Southampton College site. That's running 7 days a week. They've adjusted the hours a little bit so that there are 2 days a week. I think it's Wednesdays and Thursdays, but you have to check and see where they're extending the hours into the evening to like 9:30 at night. The regular hours there are, I believe, from 8:30 to 6 p.m. every day.
Okay. And
so there's still a vaccine available, and I believe the pharmacies are also giving vaccine, and some of the local healthcare providers now have vaccine as well. So I think the town's running of a mass vaccination center is no longer justified or needed. So I don't think we'll be doing any more clinics at the former CDCH building. But it's something we'll monitor. If there's a need at some point in the future, we may reactivate, but hopefully that doesn't come to pass.
Yeah, that's for sure. And the testing facilities that you have over at Town Hall, how long do you think those will be around?
Well, that's a really good question. I noticed that there are people out there getting tested today, so I think there's still demand for some testing. And when that demand drops off, then we'll probably curtail that. At least maybe the East Hampton Town Hall location. There may be some need to keep the Montauk, testing site open for the duration of the summer. We'll have to sort of monitor that as we go along.
And what's been your impression, Peter, now that things are kind of opening back up, and what's been your impression, like as you're walking around town, or what people are saying, or in the stores, or?
Yeah, I think there's growing optimism. Honestly, I think people are excited. There's still some residual caution, I would say, among many in the population, and that's understandable given what we've been through. But generally, I think people are becoming more relaxed about being in public, and about, if they've been vaccinated, about not wearing a mask. And I think our numbers are still looking really good. I'm not seeing any backsliding, but again, it's something we're going to have to monitor, and hopefully we don't have to go backwards. But I sense optimism and relief.
Thankfully, right? What is the procedure at Town Hall? I mean, are you guys, when you're walking through the halls, are you masked up there still, or no?
So if you are vaccinated, there's no need to wear a mask at Town Hall. We ask if you're unvaccinated that for your own safety that you continue to be masked.
Okay.
And we have in-person meetings now, where all of our offices are open to the public. We're going back to in-person town board meetings, and other, appointed boards will be following suit as well. So I think we're scheduled to have our first work session in person on July 6th. So that'll be interesting to be back in the meeting room again after 15-month absence or whatever it is.
And that's going to be a hybrid meeting, correct?
Yes, I would like to continue a hybrid meeting, because I've found that the engagement is much higher when you allow people to call in. People don't have to come down to Town Hall. We've been operating with daytime meetings, and people have been calling in, and honestly, the engagement's quite higher than when we were having in-person meetings, where speakers would have to be here in person. So, I'd like to continue that hybrid format. The question of public hearings comes up, though, because currently the governor has suspended the open meetings law, which allows us to have hybrid meetings for public hearings. The way the law reads is that people have to appear in person to speak, to be part of the record, or they have to submit in writing their comments within the appropriate time period. So there is no provision for calling in or appearing on Zoom to participate in a public hearing and have it be part of the record under the law. It's only been with the executive order that's been allowed. So I don't know how long that will be extended, and we'll, adjust accordingly. But I suspect that given the state and what we've been through, that people will be looking to adjust the open meetings law and make revisions to it to allow for a new hybrid form of meeting, because I think we all felt that it worked very effectively, and it should become part of a new revised law.
Yeah, I agree with you, Peter. I mean, throughout the pandemic, we talked about, looking forward and what the new normal would be. And it just, it's like natural now. Everybody's just falling into, virtual everything. And, we feel it certainly at the station. And I know you guys too, and I'd be surprised if Albany doesn't. I'd be really surprised if they didn't see the value in doing that. So hopefully that, the revisions will come through soon. As you know, Peter, starting next week, 6/26, this show, Ask the Supervisor, is moving to a new day and time. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more interaction with the public by doing that. We're moving it to Mondays at 5:00 on Channel 22 here at LTV. And we'll be starting that next week. Your good friend Morgan will be here handling that. I'm going to be going to Connecticut to visit my son to see how he's doing. I haven't got up there to see him in a while, so Morgan will be handling that on Monday with you. So any final thoughts, Peter, right before we sign off?
Well, a couple of things to mention. One is that we've reinstituting tomorrow the Hampton Hopper in Montauk. That free shuttle service is going to be back online and operating the same routes and basically same times as it did back in 2019 before the pandemic. Very excited about that. That will help relieve vehicle trips within the Montauk area. Downtown, it runs from Hither Hills all the way into downtown, and then there's a loop that runs out to the docks and the railroad station back. And it's only about a 30-minute wait time between buses. You can download the app, find out where the buses are and where to get them. So we encourage people to do so. We also have sand going on the beach right now downtown due to that nor'easter that we had over Memorial Day. We lost some additional sand. Some of the walkovers, there was quite a drop there. So we're putting some sand back on the beach there. We ask for everyone's patience. We're going to be working on that the next couple of days through Friday, I think. And then we'll be done with the downtown, and hopefully we'll be in good shape for the rest of the summer season. Also, Ditch was really devastated over the winter, and it was nothing but hard pan and boulders, and rocks, and that's one of the most popular, local Montauk beaches. So we're going to put sand on about a 600 lineal foot section there, and that work will begin on the 28th of this month through the 30th. So Monday through Wednesday at the end of this month. Again, we ask people's patience while we get those beaches in order.
So as always, lots going on, Peter. And we will, I guess we will see you on Monday at 5:00.
I'm excited about the new time, Michael, for a couple of reasons. One is hopefully we'll get some more call-in and comment, but it also will give me an opportunity to let people know what the work session agenda will be for the following Tuesday. So I think, maybe that will spur some more engagement as well.
I hope so. That's great. And that kind of fits into things very well. So Peter, once again, congratulations on your primary victory there. And as always, we'll be seeing you very soon. And again, thanks for taking the time to do this.
Thanks, Michael. It's an opportunity that I have to say is a real honor and a pleasure to serve the people of East Hampton. I look forward to having that opportunity to continue.
Okay. Until next time, folks, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you. Be well, everyone.